again. My name is Alicia and I'm a Morven Park educator. And welcome back to Woodland Explorers Part 2. We're in the woodlands at Morven Park again here. And I have my binoculars so that I can take a nice close look at things that are far away. I also want to remind you of one of the rules that you will follow during this video. I might ask you some questions at some point and ask you to pause the video and discuss it with your family, and then unpause or play the video back and you'll hear an answer. The last time we were woodland explorers, we talked about the tree's life cycle and what it needs to survive in the woodland habitat. So I want you to take a moment and talk about with your family, what are those 5 things that the tree needs to survive in its habitat? So pause and discuss. If you said food, water, shelter, air, and space to grow, you are correct. Those are the things that the trees need to survive. Just like trees, we have lots of animals that call the woodlands home. And they also need things to survive. Those same things: food, water, air, shelter, and space to move around and grow. In the woodlands, you will find those animals at every level of the forest. So if you look up to the tops of the trees, that's called the canopy. And the canopy is the home to many different animals. Please pause the video and discuss with your family what animals you think live in the canopy. If you said birds, chipmunks, squirrels, you are right. And some evidence we have that those animals live all the way up there are nests. We can observe with our eyes and see those animals roaming around on the tops of the trees. We also find those same animals in the middle of the forest, right? So if you come down just below the canopy, you'll see lots of branches, lots of twigs sticking out there, and in the summertime you'll find a lot of leaves. The same animals that live at the top of the trees also live in the middle. And they find all the things that they need to survive in the tops and middles of those trees. What do you think those animals would find that they would need to survive? Please pause and discuss. If you said that animals would find food in the middle of the trees or at the top of the trees, you're correct. A lot of animals will eat seeds from trees, also fruit if they have fruit in the summertime. Some animals, like birds, will also find insects living at the tops and the middles of those trees, and they will eat them while they're there. If you said water, you're correct. Sometimes when it rains, the water will pool up in the leaves of the tree, and animals can find water there to drink. Also, shelter is a big one that they find at the top and in the middle. They can hide from their predators, animals that might think they are food, and they do that by camouflaging in with the leaves and the branches. The last time we were woodland explorers, we also talked about dead trees called snags and even logs, and how some insects and birds will help decompose those dead trees into soil. And it makes a great home for those insects and bugs. So if you come in a little bit closer to this dead log, we might find some things living underneath. Please pause and discuss with your family what animals you think might be living under this log. Let's take a look and see Who might be living under this log? Let's see if there's some evidence of life. I see an ant moving around underneath that log. I even see some spider webs. Let's see if you can spot the spider webs. Are there any other things living under this log? Whoop, there's that spider.
Look, boys and girls, there's a spider on the leaf.
All right, so a log can also be a great source of water for a lot of animals. So as it rains, the ground might become muddy, and those logs will also trap some of that moisture. And I have a log here that shows that this was a very damp log because we see some other life forming and growing on this dead log. And that's called moss. It's that green stuff you see coating logs and trees in the woodlands. And it tells us that there was water in this log. Now let's move the log and see what else might be living under there. Oh, lots of ants. We found a happy little ant home here. They're crawling around, helping to decompose this log and make soil. Another great place for animals to live in the woodlands, closer to the ground, are in these leaves. So the leaves fall off the trees in the autumn, and we don't clear them out because lots of animals will hide under there, like snakes, other bugs, different types of moths might even leave their larvae under there so that they are protected from their predators and from the weather. And we leave these leaves here because those decomposers, like worms and other insects, will help break down those leaves and also create soil, just like those dead logs we were talking about before. In this woodland habitat, there's plenty of room for these animals to live, roam, grow, and lots of space for them to move around. Even the trees have lots of space to move around. And you can see that with some of these interestingly shaped trees. Like this one back here. It's got a curve in it because there's so much room for it to go. It can grow whichever way it wants. We've got this lovely tree here that's kind of growing out sideways. And there's a tree over there that also has a little crook in it so that it's growing and taking up the space it needs to survive. Thanks again for joining us today for Woodlands Part 2, where today we talked about the different habitats that you find within the woodland ecosystem, whether it's all the way at the top where the canopy is, or all the way at the ground where we found some of those insects living in the logs. Now what I want you to do is review what we talked about today by completing these worksheets. The first one, you are going to identify what each of these animals are and where you might find them. So I want you to circle the animals that you would find at the top of the trees living in the canopy. Then you can do this worksheet where you complete the sentences using the word bank below. Remember to tune in next week for Woodlands Part 3. Thanks for joining us.